let's flip a coin. Heads Carolina, tails California.
Okay, it's Andy Graham of Hobo Traveler, and Tim wants to know how to know who is safe when I'm traveling. How do I know that I'm not in danger when I talk to people, and who to talk to? And this little girl's probably safe. Okay, there's a rule of thumb in travel that you never talk politics or you never talk religion. And that's a really good one. And basically what you got to do is stay away from all the social issues. That means you don't want to talk to anybody that's going to church like everybody here on Sunday's doing. You don't want to talk to any people going to the mosque. You don't want to get involved in all the religions, the politics, or the public officials. A lot of you guys have this desire to be hobnob with the rich and famous, and the rich and famous are dangerous. The normal people are usually safe. So you got these rules of thumb that you got to figure out who basically takes the most money. The girl's going to get you the most of the guys, because she's going to endear herself. But as I'm walking down the street, do I care who I talk to? No, I don't care who I talk to. I'll talk to anybody. I'll talk to criminals. I go to Sosua and talk with a bunch of these whoremongers all the time, and that guy's a really psychopaths. I mean, I really think some of them have zero conscience whatsoever. And I talk to them because they're enjoyable to talk to, but at the other side is I don't become part of their world. See if I can, okay, this is a mosque over here. Basically, anybody that's got outward signs of religion, you really got to be careful, because they're going to try to get you like, I'm a nice guy. You got to think about how a con works. A con is a confidence game, a scam. Confidence. You give confidence because they're a minister? Hey! You give confidence because they're at a mosque? Ah! It's wrong. Bullshit. Confidence people are not trying to sell confidence. They basically they're nice people. So I look at people in the eyes and I make very radical judgments. I don't ever... See if I can adjust this camera. What I don't do is give anybody the benefit of the doubt. Zero. Basically, I assume they're a criminal and that they're going to try to stick their hand in my pocket. But the thing is that if I really am afraid of them, I stop talking to them. And this is where body language is so important, is that you listen to their words and they start rattling. Blah, 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 blah. A criminal basically talks too much. Basically, they're always telling you about, this is a good deal. It's like, you got to buy this. Like, I'm always buying stuff, seeing things in Africa, and the guy says, oh, it's a good price. And I go, you guys are such criminals. You guys don't realize that telling me that at a store is like a surefire sign that it's a bad deal. Anybody that tells me it's a good deal, it just say, hey, what do you want to buy it? It's a great price. You don't have to say, oh, this is a good one. They'll say, oh, that looks great on you. That looks great. Everything looks great on me. So there's the lack of authenticity. And whether you're in America or anywhere, it's the thing. It's the smoothness of the person. Some people are really good at making you feel good. And unfortunately, I think it comes down to the criminals like to hang around with criminals because they don't like to feel like they're around a minister that makes them feel guilty or something. I always laugh at ministers. Ministers are some of the most corrupt people on the planet. You know, all the religions are like an excuse to steal money. But what you do is you walk up there. So again, everybody, I talk to everybody. The person that makes a special effort to come see me is normally the problem. So if I hate to stay in a 5-star, 4-star hotel because there's all these Klingons that are hanging outside the hotel coming up and trying to befriend me. They're the taxi driver that acts like he's your best friend and he's charging you 5 times the price. I basically go find a taxi driver that's somewhere else. I never would get it. You know, I hate the five-star hotel because it's like a cluster, a Charlie Foxtrot of criminals hanging around these guys, preying on the idiot traveler who lives in a five-star hotel that basically has to have his personal whims thing. So simplest way to do this is to make sure you downgrade your hotel so that you're in a place where it's not full of tourists that are saps. And then try to find the normal people. If you're looking at a person and you get a good feeling, you talk to them. If you're looking at a person and you get sort of like this creepy feeling, you don't talk to them. And you don't ever give the benefit of the doubt. This is like idiocy. People think that you shouldn't stereotype, you shouldn't classify, you shouldn't do these things. There's groups that are dangerous. You know, obviously a guy with dreads in Africa is a real problem child. They're preying on the tourists like water. You know, in America, the guy's pants are falling down. Hey, he looks like a rapper, he's probably a criminal. Until you know he's not a criminal, keep away from him. I mean, that's not saying that everybody that's a rapper is a criminal, or, you know, but somebody that you're in a bar and you got around a bunch of people drinking, hey, that's a problem, they're drunks. There's an addictive process that happens with people, and this is the problem, is that what happens is they're incapable of being judgmental, because in America we think we're all equal. Well, we're not. Just assume that everybody around you is not trustworthy, then look them in the eye. I showed you a video the other day about eye checking. Well, when you eye check somebody, what you're doing, I look them in the eye, and if they just smile and they don't, like, that's different. You look at some people and you just get this, like, he's up to something. Make the judgment and live with it. And don't be greedy. You don't have to be friends with everybody. And I think the biggest problem with people is they give, if they're their friend, they're trustworthy. Well, I only have 5 or 6 friends that are really trustworthy with money, and all the rest would basically give them an angle, and they're sort of like trying to hit on my girlfriend, or they're trying to sell me something I don't need. There's very few that will actually always tell me good advice. And this is the built-in screw, is we want to give carte blanche trust, like I trust your wife. I always like these guys that trust their wife and the wife's flirting with me. And you're going, you know, there's like this willful blindness. But basically, don't trust anybody and trust the body language. Don't trust words at all. But if you get good at body language, you'll see that body language is everything. Body language will tell you what the guy's up to, what they're doing, and then study the body language, and after a while you'll get to the point where you can just walk down the street and figure out who the nice person is and who the bad person is. The guy that obviously drives his motorcycle like a crazy fiend here in Africa is not your best person, right? You're in a car and a guy honks his horn. That's not a good person. You see a person that's basically helping. We have to be judged by our fruit. So if you see somebody that does something good on his own, I mean, like being a minister is not being good. Being a good person is picking up the trash and throwing it in there when nobody's watching. How the guy treats the other people around you is your clue. If you're seeing a person and he says hi to everybody and he talks to everybody and he's not trying to sell something, he's probably a good guy. If he talks to nobody, he's probably a shit. Okay, hope that helps you, Tim, but trust your instincts and trust the body language. And this applies in America or here in Africa. It just doesn't matter. You should talk to everybody, because if you're afraid to talk to them, running on a fear-based level. It's kind of like toxic shame in a way. Okay, Andy Graham, Hobo Traveler, trying to answer Tim's question. Bye-bye. Addendum, I want to give the obvious principle. When you're walking up to a person, there's people that are obviously safe and there's people that are not obviously safe. Until you understand what you're doing, unless they just seem obviously safe, nothing to do with their title, nothing to do with their... Obviously, the scams are pulled off by the religions, the politicians, the rich people, the con men. If it just isn't obviously a good play, don't go. So think of the word obvious and get a hold of it. What's obvious to you? Obviously your friend and obviously not your friend. But most of your friends will be greedy and take advantage of you if they get a chance. So don't give them the opportunity. And when you're traveling, don't bring anybody inside your room. Don't let the cleaning lady in. Don't let anybody in your room. That's your private sector. That's your area where you do it. And if you're too lazy to clean your own room, stay home.
Tonight, let's flip a coin.